I just gotta say, my favorite fucking content and like that you cover is it's handling your beefs, mostly handling your Kurt beef.
It's a lot of beef to handle, to be honest, in one way, and a very small amount in another way. I mean, frankly,
It's addicting.
it's
It's so good. Have you always kind of been like that? Like someone who's like, all right, if you're gonna fuck with me, I'm gonna fuck with you back, but in a very funny comedic way.
yeah. I mean, I think the internet is there to be laughed at, and everyone on it, self included. There's plenty of stuff I've done that's very mock worthy, right? But people have gotten really serious over the past couple years. It kind of driving me crazy because it's like, now if someone makes fun of you or insults you, it's like, oh well, you got to go and sue them or go to their boss or whatever. And it's like, how about you just like make fun of them for being ridiculous? That's the easier thing to do. And usually, if you're online long enough, you've done something insane that can be found. Like Kurt, he did something insane, which was go into a kitchen and try and cook anything at all. so, so once,
You guys were friends, correct?
yes,
I tried to find the history of the beef, and I got like kind of close. So this started off as a friendship. You felt betrayed, maybe, or like slapped in the face when shit was going down for you,
yeah,
and that's like the
that's,
ultimate kind of fuck you, in my opinion.
yeah. I mean, when your quote unquote friend is cheering for the idea that you might get a jail sentence, and be separated from your family for a significant amount of time, like that's a bit much, right? And the we don't have to get too much into it, but the crime I committed was that well, I mean, I commit significant criminal acts like for real, but the dramatic crime was that I didn't I didn't tell him and other people about things I was doing that just shouldn't, they weren't for public consumption at all. But now I can get more into it. I was in an alternative relationship for a little while that bothered some people, and of course, what brought me to you was your comments about my recovery. I was doing a lot of cocaine for a while, which, while fun, was a little bit devastating.
Yeah.
But so because I didn't come out and say that, uh, some people were mad that I wouldn't like publicly profess these two private things. Um, and yeah, Kurt being one of those people who was very, very angry about it, inexplicably. I mean, I was with my wife and our friend as they were getting tattoos finished up from a tattoo convention, and Kurt wanted to talk, and so I talked to him for like 90 minutes. And this is well after the arrest. This would have been in July of last year, and we had this long conversation. He's like, "Well, you're a giant hypocrite," and I'm like, "Well, not really. Like, I changed my opinion on some things." And he's like, "Well, you didn't tell anybody." Oh, okay. So if I change my opinion on something, I'm supposed to like come out and affirmatively profess to the world that I've changed my opinion. And the changing of the opinion, sorry to be vague and cryptic, but um, people cast me as a very traditional Christian person, which I kind of looked like that quite a bit, and to some extent was, although I was always a bit of a degenerate. But because I've been married a long time, I have 5 children, stuff like that, and am openly Christian. People decided that meant that I had all of these very traditional conservative values, and that got somehow applied to me having all these, like me stating it, which I didn't really do it. I didn't really like lean into it too hard, but people project onto you what they believe. And because I kind of changed some of those values, like I said, I started getting into substance abuse, and then this alternative relationship that kind of really angered a lot of people. I guess they're like, "Dad, why are you doing this?" I don't know. I didn't know I was your dad. Actually, I just thought I was a guy online telling jokes and talking about legal stuff. But a bunch of people got mad. The reason it particularly hurt from people like Kurt, and why he became very memeable, was their channels, I brought them so many views
I
and
heard
so
that.
much money. And like, it wasn't like a grand plan or anything, but I kind of just built this LawTube sphere around me just wanting to do different stuff. And eventually it, watching the Kyle Rittenhouse trial and then the Johnny Depp trial, with my friends who are also lawyers and making fun of stuff, that it blew up. People really enjoyed it. And all those people who were on, all of their channels went from having just a couple thousand viewers to having over 100,000 subscribers, having several thousand people watching anybody live in the space live during these major trials, and everybody making a freaking fortune. I mean, there were news stories written about it. It was crazy. And so it's like, I made you guys a bunch of money, and then they some of them very pettily like backstabbed me, which I'd never really done anything to any of them other than bring them onto my show and stuff like that, and go on theirs and encourage people to give them cash. But I don't know. That's how people do it sometimes. It's never enough money, like, yeah.
It's weird behavior. It's like you help someone out. Why would you in turn like be a douchebag to them or in any kind of way, right?
That was the real kicker of it. It's like two people, one of whom I was reconciled with, and the other one being Kurt, were talking about it one time, and they were saying that I promised to like pay people during the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, for example. In the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, I was bringing on people onto the show who had less than 10 or 20,000 subscribers to live audiences of 80,000 plus viewers, right? Multiple days in a row. And these people gained tens of thousands of subscribers, in a segment of a couple weeks, and made fortunes on their own. But apparently I was supposed to like split super chat revenue, which is something I've always said. I'm never paying you to be on my show. What are you talking about? Like, why would you pay anyone? That's not how this business works. That's how traditional media works. You pay people for
Jess Machado. Okay.
for traditional media, they pay people for appearances and stuff like that. But this is podcasting. Right. A lot of us are doing this from our home or from some very small studio or a car or whatever. And it's like, what am I paying you for? Why would we do that? Instead, I'll just go on your show. We'll network together and we mutually benefit. It's perfect. And in some post facto world, I was supposed to pay them the money that I got. And okay, I guess. Seeing that stuff when you're down and having people, lie about what you said, saying that I would pay someone is so far out of my character for this business. And then saying that I didn't do that after I said I would, it makes it even worse. So that type of stuff really, really pissed me off. And then what followed from that, though, was, when that initially happened, I was hurt and angry. But then that's because of where I was. Then I kind of mellowed out, forgave everybody. But then I started watching Kurt. I determined at that point that that this is not a person I could be friends with anymore. It was already kind of a struggle. He's a little bit much to deal with. But he has some content that shows parts of his character that I just don't endorse at all.
This is kind of like a gift to yourself, I feel like, Kurt. It's like kind of fucked you over. You felt hurt by it, but now you're turning around and making it something, and you're kind of taking it back a little bit with the cooking, with the going over of the cooking.
Yeah. So it started with the cooking, and this is, I didn't know it was going to be this, but someone said, "Hey, have you ever seen this video where he cooks this pizza casserole?" I'm like, well, that sounds revolting or delicious, but probably revolting, because I've seen Kurt in person, and I've met him a couple times. He's been to my house even.
No shit.
Yeah.
He's been to your house?
Yeah. He one time he was like, "Hey, can I come hang out for a couple days?" And I was like, "Sure, that's fine." Cleared it with the missus, and he came up and hung out for a couple days. It was kind of awkward, but so what? It's not that big of a deal. No, dear Lord. Ew. Sorry.
People wanted to know. It's in the chat room. That's the number one question.
No, and that's a fine question. Look, guys, I am fat phobic, 100%, flat out, and you know, BMIs that are approaching quadruple digits definitely need not apply. But no, he's a large man, not very attractive, and his skin looks like the surface of the moon, no matter what part of it you look at.
I do feel like he like deep down is misunderstood by a lot of people. I feel like
What do
you know
you
what I
mean?
mean? I don't know. I feel like what he wants to project doesn't always come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he has some awkward moments, but he also that is part of it. He may be somewhere, maybe he pretty much guaranteed is somewhere on the spectrum, which is a fine thing, but it you have to adjust how you talk to people or engage with people who may have some social awkwardness due to that. The thing that is Kurt's real problem is that he's an absolute jackass to women.
Okay.
And he seems very threatened and intimidated by them. This came up all the time while he was on my show. People would complain about it, like, because he would treat some of my friends very poorly. Some of my female friends, and like have very heavy incel energy, like screaming at them about stuff and how he couldn't get dates, which is very funny.
What does incel mean? I've heard that and I feel very out of the loop. What does that mean?
Oh, it's involuntarily celibate.
Okay. Okay. So,
Right.
okay.
Unable
Not
to
by choice.
Right.
Okay.
And this, this has kind of been part of the thing. And with Kurt is that he's looking for a mate, a companion, allegedly female, although I think maybe he'd be happier otherwise. Like, legitimately, I don't mean that in an insult. Like it's not like a thing that I genuinely kind of believe that. But
he has feminine qualities.
Yeah,
there are feminine qualities.
None of the good ones.
Well, I feel like I feel like I can see what you're saying about the female thing, because I remember, like, I didn't see it, but someone was like discussing how he was treating this girl Emily on Runkle's thing, and they were like, oh, like they had a lot of like negative shit to say about it, and I'm like, I don't know if like that's like attempted flirting or.
Yeah, well, he's very awkward with women in general. Like, he tends to kind of hit on them when it's clear that it's not appropriate. He has those sort of socially awkward tendencies. But the thing that really bothered me came up during the pizza casserole video. He's making this thing, which of course starts with a reasonable 4 pounds of ground meat. That's how you start your pizza casserole. And then several pounds of cheese. But he starts laying out his requirements for who could share the pizza casserole with him. He's like, now listen, ladies, of course, if you're interested in a man who will make you pizza casserole, like, I will do that. But you have to be under 35.
Yes.
You have to be never married. You cannot have any children. I want to breed with you and make multiple Kurt babies. And so you definitely have to be under 35, because women over 35 apparently are genetically incapable of reproduction. That's science, according to Kurt. And they go, if you're across state lines, this is the thing. Oh, it was pizza casserole and wine that he was inviting them over for. If you're across state lines, you have to be 18 or older. But if you're within the same state, you'll have to check the age of consent.
Which is?
In Texas, it's either 16 or 17. Now, while that may be legal, this is a 44-year-old man. And I think maybe inviting 16, 17, 18-year-old girls to women for wine, casserole, and sex is maybe the wrong approach.
Right.
And again, while it may not be illegal, I don't vibe with people like that. I'm about the same age. I'm about a year younger than him. I'll be 44 in 13 days. And oh, thank you. Thank you. And if I was hanging out with someone my age and we were at a club or whatever, and they started going to talk to the 18-year-old girls, I'd be like, all right, buddy, go ahead. Like you do that, just get a ride home. Because you're not with me anymore. That's not how I roll. So
do you think it's a joke, or do you think he's like, it's serious?
Oh no, it's serious. He's reiterated it over and over and over. He's specifically defended the age of consent line. And
oh, good Lord.
are you familiar with Maya? No. The little girl who she was very, very sick. This is a big court case and news story. She was taken to Johns Hopkins Children's Hospital or whatever, and they ended up taking custody away from her parents because they believed it was Munchausen by proxy. If the audience isn't familiar with Munchausen by proxy, that's where you like project illnesses onto someone for the purposes of providing care to fulfill your own needs. And so you're giving medications and treatment and maybe removing them from school. It wasn't a case of Munchausen by proxy. It was a very rare medical condition she'd been diagnosed by another doctor with, and the treatment was this experimental ketamine therapy was kind of the only way to do it, but it was pretty high dose. And so the parents wanted to do this. The hospital took her away, and so much so that the mom committed suicide, actually, because of the hospital saying that she was abusing her daughter and making her sick and all of this stuff. So Maya is a child, and during the trial turns 18 years old. And at that point, Kurt made sure to wish her a happy birthday and say, now that you're 18, I can say this. Holla, you're looking very beautiful. Holla. And then proceeded to defend this like four more times as the next couple minutes rolled on. Mind you, he was watching this 17-year-old literally 8 hours prior for several days, and then it's like, and now that you're 18, I can say it. And then when people were like, that's kind of gross, he's like, don't hate the play, I hate the game.
Well, I'm not saying he can't say that. You can say that.
You can say it,
but just get ready for people to have an opinion on you saying that.
Right. And my opinion on that is like, look, I'm not hanging around 45-year-old dudes that are trying to pick up girls who are in or still in high school. Like that's weird to me. It's not,
yeah. It's weird. You don't want to be like around that or like associated with people like that because it's kind of like predatory, which is like not cool to be. You know what I mean?
I think that's the consensus is that predatory behavior is not great.
Say whatever you do under active addiction. You know what I mean? Like some, shit fucking happens, but like consistently in a sober state of mind.
Yeah,
say
even
these things, like
look, and so if we want to get into addiction and use and stuff, hopefully I won't say anything. If you're out there struggling with recovery, I hope I don't say anything that triggers anything for you. I speak very frankly about my use and its effects and things like that, because not everybody's able to speak about it that way, and I've always been kind of blunt. But my use was primarily around partying, but we'll clarify that. So my drug of choice was cocaine, MDMA, and ketamine. Occasional LSD, stuff like that. But those are the things. I never got into opiates, never did meth.
Me either.
Cocaine, Molly, ketamine. Now I will defend myself and say that these were party drugs or whatever, but I found a way to make every day effectively into a party for a period of 6 to 8 months, which is when my use got really, really heavy and consistent. All right. So I did a lot of crazy stuff and fun stuff. I have great, I did cocaine in Donald Trump's bathroom at Mar-a-Lago. Like I did that. That was
show some respect, people. Okay,
you're
in the presence of royalty.
It was kind of wild.
That is fucking wild.
And so like
I might relapse if there was a line in Donald Trump's bathroom when I was in Mar-a-Lago. Who the fuck knows? I can't tell you what I would do.
it was worse because I came out of the bathroom stall and my friend was in the bathroom live streaming like a weirdo. Like, I don't know what that was. And he's like, oh, look, it's Nick Rekieta. Come over here. And I'm like, I haven't even checked the mirror. Like, what are you doing? Oh my God. But so I did lots of ridiculous things. I had lots of fun. I'm kind of an exhibitionist. I have been I like to go to this particular resort where that's allowed, and all sorts of great. So let's just say when Donald Trump at his cabinet meeting the other day said that he blew up all the cocaine in the Caribbean. Yeah, I did too, and I saved Americans from the threat of that. So this is all getting back to the point, I promise. But despite all of that, you still have some lines that you try not to cross, and,
Right.
and you take yourself out of those situations. And for me, again, that line is staying away from high school aged people with your degenerate activities. Like, what are you doing?
I feel like consenting adults, no matter what, as long as you're not hurting anyone or like doing anything that would harm anyone or like something non-consensual, then what's the big deal? Nothing. As long as it's all like legal, kind of drugs, whatever. It's like, who cares? At that point, that's not like the biggest. You're really hurting yourself and others close to you, but whatever. At the same time, but like, yeah, I feel like being a shitty friend, not being there for someone, wishing ill upon them, wishing ill upon their family because they didn't tell you something, because you come at it from a judgmental place, is just kind of fucked up.
Yeah, and a lot of it seemed to stem from the jealousy from. I will say this hasn't been explicitly stated, but that entire 90-minute phone call that I referenced earlier reeked of this jealousy of why do you get two when I don't have any access to any women, for example. And it's like, well, I don't know. I've tried to help you multiple times, clean up your.
Oh, you would?
What?
You would?
Would what?
Try to help them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Kurt is not from Texas, but he moved to Texas. It was a very public thing, and he used to wear this big cowboy hat.
I remember that.
Which I thought was a little silly, but hey, this is about branding and marketing as much as it is about your own personal style too. So he's wearing this, and I was like, you know what you need to do, man. First of all, he has some scalp skin conditions, very flaky scalp, dry skin, and so he gets kind of like a halo that's not so angelic.
Mm-hmm.
And he wears a lot of dark colors. I'm like, okay, you need to stop doing that. And what you should go out and do is get some nice button-up Western style shirts, with a like maybe tan with like black stitching around the pockets and stuff, and get a bolo tie and maybe like a leather tan vest. Put this on, wear that to every show. Never wear a dark color again. Don't ever take your hat off, because when he doesn't wear his hat, he starts scratching his scalp and makes things very bad, sometimes even bleeding. It's like those are things that are going to push people, particularly of the female variety, away from you at the speed of light.
Especially younger, pretty ones that you want, or that allegedly.
Yeah. Oh, and believe me, he recently we uncovered a video of him talking about how his on the dating apps, everyone who swipes and matches with him is really bottom of the barrel looks wise. Like, well, when you're scraping your way in from the bottom to get into the barrel, like you got to expect that that's what you're going to find, but he has a very high expectation of his potential partner's looks.
I feel like even to get back into like the dating game, it's practice. Like, who cares who you match with if you were single wanting to meet someone? But I feel like the problem is like you blaming your whole issue of everything on not being with someone. Now you're putting all this expectation on someone,
right? And it's
problems.
It's crazy for anyone who's advanced in life to come in and say, I'm going to start dating, and I have this specific list of requirements. It's like, why don't you start in T-ball and just like see what's put on the tee for you before you take your swing, right? Like let's try there. Start dating someone, and you probably know this, but you know, the nature of what we do and the amount of people we're exposed to, there are people who like everybody. There's someone for everybody, and there's someone for everybody in any reasonably sized chat room, really. And so it's like there are women who will like you, and they'll say, "Hey, I'm really into you. I think you're really smart, and I like your sense of humor." And he's like, "Well, how old are you?" And they're like, "Well, I'm 40, but you know, I'm single or divorced." He's like, "Sorry, you don't qualify. Get out."
Right.
Which would be funny if it was a meme. That would be
loyal viewers, though. He does have like loyal viewers. I've seen it.
Yeah, I know. I made most of them. I mean, without a hint of irony, that's the thing that's frustrating is like about the whole backstabby thing was like, in spite of people saying, "Hey, like, don't bring Kurt on. He makes your other guests uncomfortable. The audience doesn't like him," and I would watch the view numbers go down because he also while I was drinking a lot, he would also drink a lot on the show and get worse and worse and worse. And, you know, like people didn't really vibe with it, but I'm like, "Hey, screw you. I'm going to hang out with who I'm going to hang out with." Right. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty loyal to people. Like I will forgive a lot that people do and say, you know, I've had friends come up and say, "Hey, like, I'm sorry. I went too far making fun of you." Like, and I didn't even know about it. And I'm like, "Hey, you know what? It's forgiven. I don't really mind. We all get out there sometimes. It's okay." So I never really minded that. I'll forgive people for a lot, but you forgive people over and over and over. They're driving your viewers down. It's like, "No, but this is my friend. Like, I'm going to bring him on." And, and I constantly encourage people to check out his channel, subscribe to him, talk to him up. And it's like, after all that, still, like, the crime was I didn't make you enough money, I guess. Like, I don't know. It was very weird and very the type of behavior that I don't really like associating with. Because like, okay, guys, you know, I made a bunch of mistakes, but if you guys made the same mistakes, I have your back. Like, I'm there.
Right. No, I completely fucking agree with that. It's like, dude, if you're loyal, you gotta be loyal. Like, you gotta understand people fuck up, people make mistakes. You don't have to like burn them at the stake in the town square and stone them in front of everybody.
No. And especially it was really fast during my ordeal that some of these people turned. To be fair to Kurt, he kind of held out for a long time. And then all of a sudden there was something that was the last straw. And it happened during that phone call. I don't know precisely what it was. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I guess it was him saying, "Well, this is a hypocrisy." And I said, "Well, two things: hypocrisy of having an alternative relationship while professing Christian values." I said, "Well, one," he said, "You said you were like that." I famously said, "I'm aggressively monogamous" at one point, and at the time I was. I just thought adding aggressively was very funny.
It is funny.
But then when I delved into non-monogamy, I stopped saying I was monogamous. I didn't come out and say I wasn't monogamous anymore, but it wasn't anybody's business. But I didn't like go on and profess the value of monogamy. And so I said it wasn't a hypocrisy. You know, I changed things up. I didn't tell you. Sorry, you didn't get the memo. But it also wasn't anybody's business to know. And it involved other people's privacy. And I said, and then he's like, "Well, but you said this." And I'm like, "Yeah, and it was a disaster though." Like it was a disaster that I'm still like going through all this, personal recovery from those decisions. So my statement about being monogamous or statements, they still hold up. Like just because I acted an opposite to it doesn't make it, this crazy thing, like this crazy hypocrisy. I just failed at some of my own principles, I guess. I don't know that I hold them in the same way now, but I would, I think monogamy works for the majority of people and it should probably stay that way.